YouTube later.
Okay.
Okay, good. What kind of singing and playing do you do, Carla? What's your
Well, I do a variety of things. I'll do the 70, 80 standards. I might do some folk song stuff because a lot of people that I'm with do that. My teacher was big more on the 70s and 80s, kind of, I
yeah,
guess more standard stuff. I'll do some folk stuff. I'm working on some jazz and blues as well because I really enjoy that. I
yeah,
enjoy the rhythm. I enjoy the chords. How different they are.
yeah,
Even the finger positioning and that kind of thing. So basically, I like a lot of different things. So I don't really have
yeah,
one thing that I focus on.
yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of in the other direction. When I started playing a long time ago, and then as I got into going to bluegrass jams, it's all pretty much this stuff, the
Yeah.
first position chords and capoing and focus on the singing, and that's kind of what I've stayed with. I've learned a few swing chords, but I don't really use them. Um, the
I
stuff that
find most. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the stuff that I do with my wife is country duets.
Yeah.
So it's really pretty simple.
Yeah, there's some country stuff too. I think most people are like that. And I think the advantage of that is you can really focus on a certain area and get better at it.
That's my
Yeah,
experience. I
yeah,
become much more proficient at playing simple stuff, and it's second nature to me now, and I enjoy that feeling that it's I don't have
yes,
I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm just kind of doing it,
yes.
you know.
Yeah, and I always feel like I'm not quite where I want to be because there's so many different things that I might be working on. And
Yeah,
then you forget stuff and you have to go back.
yeah,
But I figure at some point, I mean, it's only been 4.5 4 years. At some point I feel like it will come together.
yeah,
I don't know when that'll be, but at some
yeah.
point I'll start to be able to generalize, I think, a little bit better across the different types of music. So if the other gentleman doesn't join us, I do want to finish with this.
Okay.
So whatever, I don't know if we could switch to private lessons.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
do that, that would be fine with me.
sure.
And whatever you normally charge is fine with me because I want to learn these things. So
Okay, good.
if
Yeah,
you're okay with that.
sure, I am. Yeah, this has happened a lot with the Zoom stuff because
Yeah.
people are sick of Zoom and for whatever reason. And yeah, as I said, because the freight likes to have three people in a class to do the bookkeeping for. But then they just refund you for the rest of the classes,
All right.
and then you can pay me that amount because that's what you signed up to pay, and I think that's fair. And
Yeah, but you did that for a group. So tell me what you would normally charge because that's group
okay,
rate stuff, which is different than
yeah,
one-to-one. And then if it's a shorter lesson, because it's just me, that's fine. I just want to learn the material and I'm not
great,
taking individual lessons right now. I'm only doing groups. So,
okay,
and this, so it's fine with me.
good. Well, my individual rate is 65 an hour.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about what my instructor was charging before. So that's fine. And we
Okay,
can just, if he doesn't join us, we can just set some dates to finish up or
that sounds
whatever.
fine. Yeah,
Okay, that's great.
yeah,
Good. I'm happy with that. Thank you.
yeah, sure. I'm gonna go to.
And it isn't just Zoom. I'm surprised at how many people start individual lessons and then don't get very far with them.
Yeah, yeah. My experience is actually I charge 65 for an hour and 85 for an hour and a half because most people will take a lesson and then go a month or so and
Yeah.
then come back, or go away for 2 months and then come back.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
this, it's kind of a hard thing to know what people are going to do. And I
Yeah.
understand. I mean, I'd be the same. I'd be the same way. So,
Well, and sometimes you find you can't get through the material you learned in 1 week. You can't make enough, especially if you're working like I am. It's hard to make enough progress
yeah,
to come back and be ready for more material sometimes the
yeah,
following week. But
exactly.
yeah.
And the way this class is set up, I'm doing, I'm adding material each week. So
Mhm.
we'll be there on the YouTube channel. Let me try to get my. Are you
Okay.
seeing me in a full view, or are we
Yeah,
kind of split?
I see a full view.
Okay, I am not for some reason, and I'd like to have this for the YouTube video. So let me
Okay.
take a second to try to correct this. In fact, what I'm going to do is go to gallery. I'm going to turn off my camera for just a second. I'll be right.
Okay. Yeah, take your time.
Okay, now we'll try to go to speaker. Well, okay. Okay, well, I can't seem to make it go to speaker. When it's on speaker, it goes to your, I see you full and me in a little box. Best to have me in the largest screen I can get in. So let's just begin with, we can review last week's stuff. All I ever loved was you in G. Now aim down here at my guitar so we can see it well. So to review what the walks are, the first walk will be between G and D, and from this shape of G with 4 fingers, the walk will occur with the index finger on the A string and the second finger on the A string, and that's the whole walk. So you got a G chord, and then you're going to play the D chord, landing on the root of the D chord, which is the open D string. So do that again. And then the next move will be between the D chord. Here you first do a boom on the D string, boom, chunk, and then on the A string, open, second fret with the second finger, and then grab the C chord. Do that again. With the destination note being what's underneath your pinky. In other words, the 3rd fret of the A string. However you play the C chord. So you're on a D chord, open, 2nd fret. If you play C with 3 fingers, it's what's under your ring finger. But since I always play C this way, it'll be. And then it walks down. So you're in your C shape. Keep this finger in place. Watch my hand as I go through it. It's kind of a pivot. It's just a habit. It might not be something that you end up using yourself, but I find that when I can hold a chord, a little bit of a chord, it helps me keep my hand oriented, as opposed to lifting my hand off and doing an individual finger. I'm basically still holding the C shape, even if it's just with my pinky, or I mean with my index finger. So I'll start again and work up to where I just got to. So we're on G, going up to D, all second finger up to the D chord. It was you. You broke up to C on the A string, a heart down to G that cried for you. I've wasted all my tears on you, all on the A string. Now here it's the same walk that we did at the beginning. Index, second finger on the A string at the 3rd fret, D, open, A string 2nd fret, ever down to G. Love was you. It's kind of a confusing message of the lyrics and then the instructions, but I'll just go through that a couple times more slowly. I'll do it first without instructions. I'll just sing the words. All I ever loved was you. You broke a heart that cried for you. I've wasted all my tears on you. For all I ever loved was you. So I can do it again. All G up to D. I ever walk to D. You broke, walk up to C. Heart down to G. Cried for you. I've wasted all up to C, my tears on you. For all up to C, I ever down to G, love was you. Go out and find up to D somebody new. But you'll up to C, be sorry down to G if you do. You'll never find a love so true. Up to D, for all up to C, I ever down to G, love was you. All I ever loved was you. You broke a heart that cried for you. I've wasted all my tears on you. For all I ever loved was you. One more verse and chorus. Buy her rings and diamonds too, but you'll be sorry if you do. You'll never find a love so true. For all I ever loved was you. One more chorus. All I ever up to D loved was you. You broke up to C, your heart down to G that cried for you. You'll never find up to C love so true. To D, for all I ever loved was you. And tag the last line. For all I ever loved was you. again to tag the last line. Instead of the 2-note walk to D, I did a 3-note. So start at the same place. So you're literally walking with the first, second, and third finger up to D. And then at the end, I added a partial G run, which is a boom chuck, and then hammer on the A string, 2nd fret, go down to the D string, go down to the G string. And so that's the gist of that.
Sorry, would you show me that one, just that very way, okay, what, one, you did the D, so you did this A string, frets 2, 3, 4, like
Yes,
that?
exactly. Yeah. 2, 3, 4, D chord. So instead of the 2-finger one, this is like a chromatic walk. So
Okay, and then keep going, one, a little bit more.
yeah. So then it's the same. I ever loved was you. Watch my right hand in this part. I'm literally kind of pushing the pick through each of those strings. So A string down to D, D string down to G, pluck the G string.
Okay, so hammer on the A string,
On the A string at 2nd fret.
and then just pull it through the next
Yeah,
2 strings.
yeah. And
Nice.
that's called a rest chord. You may have heard of it. It's in classical guitar, it's coming to rest on the string below. Gives you a good purchase on the string. And you use the same idea with a pick when you've got the space and the time to. Instead of plucking each string, you just kind of push them. Yeah.
And you're keeping the, let's see. So hammer on, and then we're on the hit the 4th string, the 3rd string.
Yeah. So hammer on the A, push through the D, push through the G.
And finish there.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you, that's great.
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
try and remember that.
And if you start using the G runs, you can they can get fancier, and so it's just 2 hammer-ons, A string, D string. And again, I'm holding these fingers in place down here.
Uh-huh.
It's just the index finger that's making all that motion.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But are you holding up, when you do the strum through, are you holding up your index finger? Or do you have the full G shape when you do the strum?
Good question. I've got the full G shape.
Okay.
And then I hammer on. So full G, hammer on.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And there's a dozen variations on how to play a G run. It's all over YouTube if you want to get into that. But it's a nice way to punctuate what you're doing. It just, even the simplest one, it finishes off the phrase that you're doing.
That's good. I'm just noting this. I know you're taping it, but let's see.
Sure.
And D. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
So let's,
Okay, I
yeah.
feel good with that. My transitions are smooth. I can transition to the D smoothly. And then it's a little choppy, so I have to keep working on the transitions between the chords.
That's sounds completely natural. As I probably said last week, I recommend just play through the chords so you get used to changing at that time, and then work the walk in between those chords that you're
That's
comfortable changing.
okay.
That's actually, very much the way that I learned it. I began throwing in walks where I felt like I could and where they made sense. Um, but the main thing is a good solid boom chuck. So you're, especially to clarify, the boom chuck hitting the root of the chord, in this case the G note that you're making, the G chord, or the D string, or the C note. And if you're doing that, that's great. That'll be a real clear boom chuck and good stuff to sing over. But then you can add the walks as they get more comfortable.
That sounds good.
And let me try again and see if I can get the speaker view here. Nope, not doing it again. Okay, I'll go back to gallery. So let's move on to playing out of the A shape. In this case, the key of A. So there's a song that probably Ray Charles had the first version of it that I ever heard. Can't Stop Loving You. It's by Don Gibson.
Yep, I was familiar with this one.
Good. So this has a slight bit more complication because it's got a bridge with a different, or rather, it's like a chorus verse chorus form, but on the verse, it's got a different shape to it and different motions. And there will be the possibility of adding a 7 chord if we want to. So
I see. Okay, good.
Yeah. So the gist of tonight's lesson is what I semi-comically call the 2-finger 2-fret miracle move. And
Okay.
basically, it's just to point out you'll be using your index and your pinky, or if it works better for your hands, the index and the ring finger. But I suggest using the pinky for this because once you get used to utilizing the pinky to go 3 frets up, your pinky will get stronger, and it'll actually it feels good to use all your fingers rather than keeping the pinky suspended and unused. If you're on the 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 4th fret,
I'd probably be better at it if I practiced my scales like I was supposed to.
Oh, I mean, not necessarily.
Okay.
I've resisted that scale stuff forever. I know too many people that have taken multiple lessons and learned scales and can't play a song to save their
Oh,
life.
that's true. That's true.
I recommend
Yes.
learn a song.
Okay.
That's where the pleasure is. But anyways, it's the 2nd fret and 4th fret, and index and pinky. So to start out with,
Oh, the 2nd and the 4th. Okay.
2nd and 4th, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be playing A, D, and E. Those are all the chords for.
Yep.
I'll get this off my face and down here to my hand so you can see what I'm doing. So I'll play through a chorus first, and what you'll be watching for is the walks on the A string, up to the D chord, back down to the A, down to the E, and back to the A. So, I can't stop loving you. I made up my mind. useless to say. So I'll just live my life in dreams of yesterday. I'll do the verse for him too. Those happy hours that we once knew, so long ago, still make me blue. They say that time heals a broken heart, but time stood still since we've been apart. Now the chorus. I can't stop loving you. I made up my mind to live in memory of old lonesome time. I can't stop wanting you. It's useless to say, so I'll just live my life in dreams of yesterday. So I'll just live my life in dreams of yesterday.
Nice.
So
Nice,
all
that's
of the
good.
moves are basically on the A string and the E string,
Okay,
fourth fret and second fret. And it adds quite a lot. You can get quite a lot of good sound out of that. And
okay. No, that's good. I was afraid you were gonna have me trying to fret both of those at the same time with my pinky, and I thought, I don't think my pinky's strong enough. Okay.
No,
So, but you're doing, but there's only one fret between them, and you're using your pinky, huh?
yeah, but partially because it's just good to have the pinky in your arsenal of notes.
Okay.
When we get to playing out of the key of E, to go from E from the 1 to the 5, which would be a B7 chord.
Okay.
The walk will be, so back to the E, fourth fret, open, first fret, and then grab your B7. And in that case, it's really nice to kind of throw the pinky to the fourth fret and have that feel secure. You can do it with your ring finger, but I don't know. I find that by using the four-fingered C chord and the four-fingered G and a barred F or a four-fingered F, the pinky just gets to be utilized, which kind of makes it feel stronger.
Okay.
And I would imagine if you're playing fancier chords, having the pinky be an active player is probably a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, so the the first walk happens to accompany the beginning of the word. So I would vamp it for a beat. I can't stop loving you. So boom chuck, boom chuck, boom, 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 boom. So it's actually 3 notes, but you hit one of them twice. So do that again. A. I can't stop loving you. Then the same thing again to go down. I made up my mind. Down to E. Now the way that I like to conceptualize this addition of this extra note, which you don't have to do, but it's nice because you're walking up to the D. I can't stop loving you. So that's a figure of its own, the boom, 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 boom. And then you begin it with a walk. And that's a whole figure. Then another figure down. Then you begin to another figure down. So if that makes any sense, you're walking up to the D. That's a complete figure. Bum, bum, bum. And then you will hit that you'll hit the D twice, in other words. That's what there is to note. It seems like it makes it a lot more complicated, but once it helps you to see the walk up as a shape that accompanies the melody and as a structural device. I'll do it very slow. I can't stop loving you. That's the end of a phrase. Now the beginning of a phrase, I've made up my mind. There's the end of a phrase. Beginning of a phrase, to live in memory. Same thing. End of a phrase, of a lonesome time. End of a phrase, beginning of a phrase. I can't stop wanting you. So you see how that works. And you're just hitting it twice. That's really what it comes down to. You're using it to get up to the D chord, and then you're hitting that D string again to go back down to the A. And what that will start to do, I'm going to jump ahead for just a second here, but what it'll make easier for you in the long run. All of that business that sounds so fancy, it's actually,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking of it as a complete figure up to the D, and then start it again on that D note. So that once that gets comfortable, it begins to open up those possibilities when you're playing, especially behind other people, and you're just adding a little rhythmic fill. Seems probably a little fancier than what we needed to get into tonight, but that's the beginning of it, and it's also the beginning of playing leads out of scales. I mean, because what we're doing here really is kind of a scale, but getting it through the muscle memory of this, working with this shape as how to conceive of the moves between A and D and back down to A and E and back up to A. So let's, and just to remind you on the sheet that I sent around, this part,
Yep.
if it helps how you learn, it describes all the walks from A, walk to D, walk down to A, walk down to E. So it just describes it, if that's helpful to get the emotions. So I'll go through it slowly just to have this to play with. time stood still since we've been apart. Now there's a lot of motion in the second half of the verse. But time stood still, still, since we've been apart. So it's a kind of a good exercise to just keep the fingers moving through there and try to sing over that, because you don't really have time to do a boom chuck. Boom, just one boom chuck in there. But it's good. It's good for getting the sense of how to use it, and especially when you play through that with using the dynamics, kind of softly at first. To begin the phrase, stronger. Same note, soft. Soft, louder. So louder to start the phrase, softer to kind of end the phrase. It's good to start playing with the dynamics when you can, because then it just makes the whole walk a little more intelligible. You're using it as an accompanying phrase, and that's really how it'll get used when you're singing, where you'll use it underneath your vocal to lift it up a little bit. And these walks with this melody are especially nice. I can't stop loving you. Nice duet. I made up my mind to live in memory of a lonesome time. You got like a duet part all the way through, and it's pretty. It doesn't sound like too much, really. And one more thought about this song done in this way: it gives you a lot of opportunities to do the chuck part of the boom chuck in a minimal way. Really focus on the bass notes with this song, and it for people especially who are used to just kind of strumming all the way through. Now it's breaking down to where you're really distinguishing between the bass notes and the backbeat where you're hitting the treble strings.
Lot to think about.
Lots to think about. Yes. But as all these things, I truly believe it's actually pretty simple stuff. Once your hands get to know
Yes,
what
exactly.
the task is, you're basically walking up to a chord, walking down to a chord, and with this one, I can't stop loving you. I made up my mind to live in memory of old lonesome time. Just throw in an A7 there, and all of a sudden it sounds a whole lot more complicated and a lot more full. And it's a good little exercise to try to do that. To live in memory. You can throw in an E7 there. Sometime throw in an A7. And that's as complicated as this one gets. But they're nice things to do. And that to live in memory, to distinguish it in terms of a different kind of thing, the way that I like to talk about it is to kind of lay in that one chord. So to live in memory of old lonesome time. So you're actually doing something very different. That little strum by itself is a different motion than the boom chuck stuff. Of old, then you go right back to the boom chuck, then again lay it in. I can't stop wanting you. And it's just one little stylistic difference between a clean boom chuck and all of a sudden you're doing a little bit of a flourish. but it sounds complicated in a coherent way, and it teaches your right hand to do something a little bit different right in the middle of everything else. You're just doing something slightly different, and it's good. It's good to start thinking that way, because eventually, when you're really playing comfortably in this boomchuck style, using walk-ups and walk-downs, you'll be throwing things in that you realize you've learned, that just add a little bit more texture or structure or melodic interest under the vocal or whatever it is. But it comes down to what's going on in your attention, I think, to
Yes.
and then apply it. When your attention realizes, oh, I've got a fraction of a second, I could just lay in that A7 and that'll sound really cool. And I can keep going because I know what to do next. So it all falls into place eventually.
Yeah, that's the piece that gets challenging. And I find I do like to sing when I play, and then I have to play so simplistically because it just feels like there's so much I can't keep track of it all. But I will, over time it'll get better. But
Yeah. Yeah.
so
It does. It does. And as I probably mentioned last week, I started playing in this way when I started doing duets, and I was playing a lower guitar part than the other person, and I was just using the bass notes because it made my part a little fancier, and I was kind of playing the bass. And I got more comfortable playing the bass notes, especially A was a very good shape to play out of because you get to go down to that low E. So even if you're playing up in a different key out of the A shape, you're getting to hit the lowest note on your string, and it's cool. And this is actually a very easy shape um, to play in because your fingers are really only on these two frets, and it's just for the most part these two fingers. So it's kind of good. It's the limitation or rather the advantage of limitation. If you limit yourself to two fingers and two frets, what can you do?
so you're doing the different it looks like the different A shape where you're holding it more like a
Oh,
D7, right?
yes, here. Yeah, let me show you. I've got rather large fingers and a rather narrow neck. So I make my D like this. These two fingers on
Right.
the B string and the G string, and on the or rather on the B string and the D string, and on the G string, my index fingers
Up
behind it.
behind.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had some people who do more intricate work or even finger picking work say that they set their finger up like that for the A. It just makes it easier to move between shapes. Do you find that the case or not?
I do, yeah, I do because for one thing, I've actually got room. If I can fit my fingers in here, but it's not exactly comfortable to do that straight line of an A or to do a slight partially barred A
Right.
with the tip of my finger. This is just easier to make this little triangle shape with the fingers because the A7 is really accessible. Just lift off the index finger.
I'm wondering if it's easier to reach that G sharp like that. If I do the 3 across, well, I guess it's probably not too different. Okay. Just don't know whether to try to teach myself to change that or not. I've wondered about that over the years.
Well, that's a good question. I would suggest think about the walk down to E as throwing your pinky to that fret. It's a separate thing from how you play the A. You could play it like this and throw it, or you could play it like this and throw the pinky. Throwing it for me means leaving the fretboard and actually
Yeah.
getting a good purchase on that string right there.
Yeah.
With a good muscle control.
So when you're doing that A walk down, you're not hitting that open E string though, are you? You're just doing, oh, you are, you're including that. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So A string, E string, E string, open E string.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Okay.
So now let's put the capo on 2 and apply the key of A with the moves that we know out of G shape. So in this case, we'll be capoed on 2 playing G shape. So
Okay. I have to take a minute to know what shapes okay, so I'm going to, don't tell me G, G, E, so I'm going to, F, G, G, A, B, C, D, F, G, A, B, I'm going to, is this to C or is it C sharp and D?
C is the 4 chord.
C and then D.
D, yeah.
Okay, 4, 5. This is a stuff I've been instructed by chords, and these are all the pieces I'm trying to, by
Yeah,
chord
yeah,
charts, all
yeah.
the pieces I'm trying to pick up.
Yeah.
Okay, so G and then, all right,
G, C, and
gotcha.
D again will be your
Okay.
moves. So
Like we were doing before. Okay, good. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so your 4 chord will be C.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, like we were doing before. Okay, very good.
Same 1, 4, 5 motions, but in this case, we're making it work in the key of A.
Okay.
So
That's right. I should have known that. I have problems generalizing sometimes. I don't know what my problem is, but that's part of my problem learning. Everything is like, I feel like everything is a separate, discrete thing, and it's not. It's all.
I have the same, my solution is to approach it, make it as simple as possible. I don't even think about it. It's just, this is the 1, that's the 4, that's the 5. Wherever I got my capo, that's the 1, that's the 4, that's the 5. And I just kind of know it muscularly. It's like kind of, I know my hand knows.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I like that.
And if, so technically speaking, that's an A, that's a D, that's a D, that's an E.
That's
I never think about that. It's just 1, 4, 5, and it's okay. My what I assert is it's okay to not know everything. If you get your hands in the right place at the right time, you make the same amount of money as if you.
That's true. That's true.
So in this case, we're going to be walking up to the 4. I can't stop loving you. So the walk will be, I opened A, 2nd fret, loving you. So that same walk up to C, open, 2nd fret, grab your C chord, loving you, and the walk down to the 1 chord again. I've made up my mind. I'll do that again. I can't stop loving you, up to the C, back down to the G. I've made up my mind. One more time.
Okay, so we're hitting that. So say, okay, so I'm doing the G. Let's see. I can't stop loving you. And then do I have to get that A, that in there twice, I think,
Yes,
right?
that's it. That's exactly what. So I can't stop loving you. I made up my mind. So you'll hit that note twice. I made up once to end the first phrase, the second time to begin the walk down. If that helps it make sense.
Okay, I think so.
So I can't stop loving you, down down to G. I made up my mind to D, to live in memory of. Now here, we're going to walk up to the G. You're on a D chord of old lonesome time. So it's going to be open E, second fret, and then grab your G chord.
I'm sorry, will you do that one more time?
Yeah.
I'll make sure.
Yeah. I'll start at the beginning to get up to there.
Okay.
I can't stop loving you, down to G. I've made up my mind, walk up to D, to live in memory of old lonesome time.
Okay.
It's a nice way to get to the G because you get that big fat G.
Okay, let me just check
Yeah.
that. Let's see. So time. There's no open chord, right? There's an open D, and then
So D chord. So boom chuck, boom chuck, boom boom, walk walk, boom. I guess on the D chord, boom chuck,
Yeah.
boom chuck, boom boom, open second, third.
Okay, I think I got it.
So I'll go through the shape once here so
Okay.
you can play along with it. I can't stop loving you. I made up my mind to live in memory of old lonesome time. I can't stop wanting you. It's useless to say. So I'll just live my life in dreams of yesterday. Those happy hours. Now that's a G7. You might know a G7 played like this, where you've got that 7 note up on the top. This is basically the 4-finger G, and the operative player here is going to be the ring finger coming down to the D string on the 3rd fret. So G, G7. Those happy hours that we once knew. So you got a G7, G, G7, and then walk up to C. We once knew. I'll do that again. Those happy hours. G7, walk up to C. We once knew.
Were you plucking the G? Were you plucking that note, or were you struck? Let me see.
Good question. I'm actually putting emphasis on. I'm landing on that particular string to emphasize that 7. So G. Really, I'm hitting the D string right there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. And a little bit ahead, what a nice thing that can happen from that sort of G7 shape. You get a walk down from a G7 to C. So you can do this, G, up to C, like that. Or you can do it this other way, G, G7, walk down to C. So that's just a G7. Next fret down on the same string, open, C. So that G7 is really useful. It's a nice big sound too. Oops. As opposed to a G7 where you're using the,
Yes, yeah. I'm not that crazy about that one, but I do use it. Or
yeah,
the jazzy the jazzy G major 7, but just
yeah,
nice, but it's not good
yeah.
for this. Will
No,
you show me the, oh, yeah, go ahead.
no,
Will you
no,
show me that one more time, the walk up for the
sure.
G7 to
Yeah.
the C?
So, those happy hours, G7. We once, now do it in time now.
Okay.
Those happy hours that we, shoot, missed it now. Those
Okay.
happy hours that we, I missed it. Sorry.
That's because I'm staring at your fingers.
Those happy hours
There you go.
that we once knew. There it
Okay.
is. G7, open, second fret, grab your C.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, much easier than I make it look when I'm messing it up.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's good.
So you'll be, it's nice in a classroom situation because one of us can be playing it open and the other can be capoed on the second fret. And you can hear how the walk ups and walk downs
Yes.
work together and conflict with one another. One's going up while the other's going down. It's really cool and it's really pretty.
Oh, so you're both doing the walk ups and walk downs at this. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you
Very
can.
cool.
You can.
Yeah. Okay.
And it just makes it sound really nice to have, one going up while the other's going down.
Okay.
So it's good practice to, whenever you can, if you're playing with other people, think of another capo position to go to and see what happens with the walks out of that shape.
Okay.
Again, so much of my playing is with my wife, and we do duets where she's usually now in the lower position. I'll capo up high and have a very different sound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah, it's nice.
yeah,
Okay. Great.
yeah. So it looks like you're getting this. I mean, you're understanding the.
Oh, yeah, I'm understanding what
Good.
you're doing. What I do then is I go back and I watch the video, and I know you're not probably not supposed to do this, but I sort of I actually chart it out for myself so I can follow it, but then I don't need it. Once I remember it, I don't
Whatever it
need to
takes.
look.
Yeah.
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 But it helps me just slowly work through it correctly instead of poking around trying to get the right. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
stuff.
No, whatever works. Whatever works. I kind of have a loose pedagogical kind of a thing about tablature, because actually when I met my wife a dozen years ago, she could read tab easily. She could sit in front of a page and play along with the tablature. She couldn't sit and play with me without
Yes,
tablature.
I know.
And it's like, get the paper training out of the way,
I know.
It's just and
But
so I kind of take a position of just rely on muscle memory, don't put the paper in between yourself and the
the
sound.
audience, I
So,
know, and I'm
but-
trying to get there. And I'm not even using tablature. I'm just using like a chord, just a chord diagram.
Yeah,
and that-
sure.
But it's still paper, and I have to get away from that, which is why I like this kind of music. It's to get at least to get started in with and stuff. It's easier to do that.
Yeah.
Once you memorize the shapes and be able to play with people and stuff, as opposed to presenting something that's like people are like, what the hell's that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and I've taught at music camps like Puget Sound Guitar Workshop.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of people sitting in front of me that have taken a number of guitar classes. They
Yes.
can read tab, they can play swing, they play a little jazz. They
Yes.
cannot play a boom chuck G, C, and D to save their lives. It's just they can't just sing and play that stuff. It's all,
Yes.
a little too brainy and a little too complicated. And I like that music, okay, but actually, I just want to hear people sing. You know.
Right, right, right. Yeah, and also I feel like will help me just get more comfortable with just playing instead of being so focused on, all the other stuff. So, okay, so I will go through and do that this week. I do want to ask you, is there any possibility for next week if we can move it up an hour? Is that okay with you, or you booked the hour before the?
No, I'm not. I think I could start at 6.
Let
Yeah.
me think. How? I just have something else, and I was debating about what I was going to do next weekend. And if it doesn't work, just tell me it doesn't work, and I can
Yeah.
figure something else out. What about? Let me just look at my calendar. Sorry,
Okay.
the other Tuesdays are fine. I thought this event wasn't going to happen next week, but it is, which is my problem. I'm actually. I don't know if you work or do anything else during the day. I'm available like all afternoon
Oh,
until
okay.
like
Oh,
6, so
sure.
anything good.
In theory, we could meet anytime during the afternoon. Tuesdays, I'm pretty free. Um, uh, I'll check in with Ani and see if he's
Okay,
going to be taking the class. Uh,
okay,
sometimes people drop away,
yeah.
and this may not work for him. But in that case, there's even more flexibility
Oh,
um,
okay,
to uh,
okay.
to meet
And
with.
if he's planning on coming next week, I may just, if you're okay with it, if you record it, I may just go with the
Sure,
recording so
sure.
I can do this. But if he isn't, then if we can reschedule, that would be great.
Okay, yeah, yeah. And then my PayPal and Venmo have the same address. It's
Okay,
@ R.E. Brandenburg, like spelled like the concerto, BRANDENBURG, @RE Brandenburg. So that's my tag, I guess, for PayPal and Venmo. So,
oh, so is the same as your email, did you say?
no, no,
Oh,
it's just capital R, capital E, Brandenburg is the tag. My email is my complete name, Richard Eric Brandenburg,
okay.
at Gmail.
Ari Brandenburg. And I have a PayPal account. I haven't paid somebody on PayPal in probably a year. I think, do I just go in and look up your name there? Is
Yeah,
that the way I
yeah,
do it?
just
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Ari Brandenburg is what I look
yeah.
for.
If you go into your account and do pay someone, and just do pay, and then you can look up the address.
Okay. So, this is 6 weeks. So there's today, and then there's 4 more weeks, right?
Yeah,
And then there's 4 more weeks. But you're going to find out about,
I'll
you
find out
know,
about Ani, what he's doing.
okay. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And are you okay to just email me, or what do you want to do with that? Like,
Um. What?
well, I'm good for the individual classes, but if he still wants to do it, then we've got 2 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what do you want to do with that?
Well, usually what I've done with this class is just to be a nice guy about it is people just pay what they were going to pay for the freight version of the class, which works out, much cheaper. But if you're comfortable paying as if we're doing a private lesson, which I really appreciate the
Yeah,
suggestion,
yeah.
it's 65 an hour. But I
Okay.
wouldn't want you to be paying 65 an hour if he's just paying the regular rate. And I don't want to insist that he pay
Yes,
much more for something he thought he was getting for, you know,
yes.
a cheaper rate. So we can figure that out.
Okay,
And
okay.
basically I'm comfortable doing it either way. I do appreciate that because this is a job for
It
me.
is a job, I know, and musicians don't make a whole lot of money, and
Oh,
you're selling something that I want to purchase.
good.
So
That's nice to hear. I feel like it's great stuff, and
it
I'm
is,
happy to
yeah.
teach it. I like showing
Okay,
people this because it opens up so much
okay.
once you get it in your hands. So yeah, so
Right.
I'll get in touch with you, and I will check in with Ani and see what he's up to. And
Okay, so you'll let me know whether he's coming or not.
yeah, and
And
then
then I'll,
next week, would it work for you to do it in the afternoon if that's what's happening?
If it's just you and me, yes, and if Ani can't do it earlier, or you just want to stick with the regular 7 o'clock time, then then I probably won't be there, and I'll just do your video and ask
Okay.
questions if I have a problem with it.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Good.
okay. No,
Okay.
that sounds great. I'm glad. Well,
problem.
thank you
Thanks.
very much for continuing to work with me.
Sure.
I had
you bet.
one class that I'd signed up before that got canceled. I was disappointed about it. And
Hmm.
I may reach out to her at some point, because she does individual lessons too, to ask for the material, because I really like these like 6-week sessions of stuff. You come out with something at the end, you know what
Yeah.
you're gonna, yeah.
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
gonna have. So,
Yeah.
okay,
Good.
okay, sounds great.
Okay, Carla. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. See you
Okay.
soon. Bye-bye.